Fireworks in the sky, but the truth still buried underground. Royal low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Other stories so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Fireworks fade, but the truth don't die. Royal low, 4th of July. Not your midnight, not your lie, not your version of my life.
Right. Hello, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake up call or your Sunday morning wake up call. And as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So, with that all being said, let's get ready to get black into it. Hello, G from the land, 504 NOLA. Dangerous is here. Let's get into it. Buckhorse DC, KDQ, Pearly, Gregory. All right. Everybody hit that like button as you come in. The lovely T. Okay, Hadassah is here. We the people. Alice. Bronze Flat Power God. Okay, let's get it, Danny Joe. All right. Andrea is here. 57 Beige Fox. Nessa G. All right. Bert is here. Jerron. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen, and a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, we the people, Alice, infamous Marty Marr. Okay, so before we get started, Miss Detroit is here. Bungani, B. Maltsby. All right. We're cooking with grease this morning, folks. Lamont, I see you, beloved. Okay, so before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. I see you, Wayno. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so today, before we get into all of the information and receipts, we're going to first go through the history, okay, of both Horn Island and Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Now, you know, I've already told you all how active the Klan still is down there in Mississippi with 7 whole Klan groups. But we're going to talk specifically about Ocean Springs, their dark history, as well as Horn Island, okay? But before we get started with that, I want to talk to you all about this. How many of you heard the national anthem, because there seems to be a bit of backlash? They're going in on a whole Motown legend by the name of Martha Reeves. Did you all see that? Did you all hear that song? Because they're going in on this poor woman. Now, the song did sound horrible. Hey, D Major. The song did sound horrible, I must admit. But, I mean, you know, she is 85 years old. Hey, Robert, beloved. Deronda, Pensilola. Okay, so y'all didn't hear. Well, I'm gonna let y'all hear it this morning, but before you do, let's talk about it. What they're saying, honey, out here in the streets. Okay, so here's what they're saying. They said an ear-splitting anthem. Women's Pro Baseball League opener derailed by terrible ear-splitting national anthem from Motown legends. It's all so nefarious. Now, they go on to say the inaugural game in women's pro baseball in the league history got off to an awkward start on Saturday with an ear-splitting anthem performance by a Motown legend. Martha Reeves of Martha and the Vandellas fame was given the honors at Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield, Illinois, where all the league's games will be played this season. But what was being billed as a historic moment quickly turned into a viral joke as the 85-year-old member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame struggled to stay in tune. I'm crying, actual tears, laughing, especially when they show the crowd and people are trying not to laugh. That's what someone said on X. Listen, listen, here's the thing. I don't want to try to go in on any of the elders. D Major, stop it. You are so nefarious talking about not ear splitting. Listen, I don't want to go in on an elder because, as you age, sometimes your voice and things that you used to do, your talents, they just seem to fade a little bit or they're not as finely tuned as they once were. I guess it would eventually happen to many of us. But the bottom line is the song was a disaster. As being part of Martha's team, I don't know why someone didn't suggest. I mean, because didn't they do like a sound check or something? I would have hoped that someone would have, someone should have told her that it was not a good idea in a kind roundabout way, because this is just dastardly. And now, people are just coming out and saying all these things. But so anyway, one person wrote, I think it was a fantastic start to the season. You got to have a memorable first moment. Someone else said this national anthem sure is going to get the WPBL some clicks. Now, Reeves was accompanied by background singers, and if you ask me, they were not good either. She and these two other ladies she's singing with are singing in different keys. This is what someone said. They did not. They said they did not, WAWT, they did not rehearse, but God bless them. It's the thought that counts. Let me tell you all something. In my opinion, one of the most polite shades, one of the most polite ways to throw shade or to diss somebody is to say, bless their heart, something like that, or it's the thought that counts. Okay? Time with the Queen's Theater Music says, hey Queen, I made you something. How do I find your email? My email, beloved, I'm going to type it in the chat right now so you have the correct spelling, but it's the same as the show, QueenAhmadiyyah at gmail.com. Okay? Normally, I'd have the moderators do it, but doesn't look like any of them are awakened at this point. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. Whatever it is, I'm sure I will be so grateful. Okay, so now listen, let me just tell you all, this is the start of my new series, okay? This is the start of my new series called Tipping the Scales of Justice. And I want you all to pay attention because tipping the scales of justice in the favor of the frenemies is exactly what Brandon Tap Dancing Tatum has been doing all along. And he's been getting called out on all fronts. And he's also been exposed again as being nothing more than a ridiculous, foolish, nonsensical, insidiously obtuse liar who lies. Okay, that's exactly what he is. Now, let's get into it. We're also going to talk about Jake Lang. Okay, we all know who Jake Lang is, but we're going to talk about this nefarious walk that he's supposed to be having. It's called the Jigger Walk with an N. Okay, I want you all to pay attention because this country has gone to hell in a handbasket, and it's all thanks to none other than Trump and his nefarious administration. Now, we've always had hate and racism and all of that, but at the end of the day, they've taken it to a whole new level because they have basically emboldened people. And I'm going to go in on Trump at some point today. I can't stay off of his back. I've been busy with Nolan's case. But there are certainly some other things that have to be addressed, and they will be, such as Dr. Fraudchi, as I love to call him, okay, disrespectfully, of course, his testimony. We have to get into all of that. Okay, so anyway, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, let's talk about this history. Let's get ready to get into it. Hold on just a second. Okay. Now, this is what historians know. So during the Civil War, enslaved people crossed the Mississippi Sound in small boats, often at night, trying to reach Union-controlled islands such as Horn Island and Ship Island. Now, those crossings were dangerous because of the rough waters, storms and currents, and limited navigation. It's likely that some freedom seekers died attempting this journey, although few individual cases have been recorded. Now, the National Park Service's recognition of Horn Island as part of the Underground Railroad network to freedom is based on documented escapes and rescues. Now, I want you to pay attention because most people don't even know this, okay? So, not on documented deaths occurring on the island itself, But for example, records describe at least 8 freedom seekers reaching Horn Island in 1863 and then being rescued by the USS Calhoun. Now, Mississippi as a whole has extensive records showing that enslaved people died from disease, violence, overwork, and punishment. But those records generally relate to plantations and their communities. However, some of them viewed Horn Island as a place of refuge when they were seeking freedom. So with that all being said, let's talk about the Klan. Okay. Well, we've already talked about that, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. Now, the Mississippi Gulf Coast and the state as a whole have a long history of racial violence, including and specifically Klan activity. Now, the first Ku Klux Klan became active in Mississippi during Reconstruction. That was beginning around 1870, using threats, assaults, and murders to suppress Black political participation. And they're trying to do the same thing right now, even in 2026. Okay, redistricting the maps and all of the foolishness. Now, much of this activity was concentrated in parts of northern and eastern Mississippi. So during the Civil Rights Movement, Klan organizations, especially the White Knights of the KKK, were responsible for bombings, murders, and other acts of terror across Mississippi. Now, these crimes occurred primarily in towns and communities on the mainland, but not really on these barrier islands, which is why they were sought for refuge. So along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, including Biloxi, Gulfport, Pascagoula, and surrounding areas. Y'all know I can't hardly say that word. Segregation, racial discrimination, and occasional racial violence certainly existed, as they did throughout much of the South. But historians have not identified Horn Island or any of the barrier islands of having been an issue. And, there were some people saying that they had Klan meetings and stuff there or whatever, but that's not the case because I did the research. Now, with that all being said, Ocean Springs, however, has a documented history of racial violence and racial discrimination. Okay? And this is not nationally known because they try to keep it under wrap. It's not as known as Philadelphia, Mississippi, or Jackson. But here's the thing. In 1901, there was the lynching of Warren Stewart. One of the best documented incidents occurred in this year. Okay, so Warren Stewart, a Black man, he was seized by a white mob in Ocean Springs. Historical accounts state that he was hanged and then shot, making it one of the known lynchings in the town's history. And then in 1916, there was racial unrest. Okay, an incident involving the alleged assault of a Black woman by a white telephone company worker escalated into significant racial tensions in Ocean Springs. Local authorities intervened, and contemporary newspaper accounts describe a period of unrest and a fear of wider violence. Now, like much of Mississippi, Ocean Springs was governed by Jim Crow laws for decades. Black residents attended separate schools, used separate public facilities, and faced discrimination in housing, employment, and voting. And even long after Jim Crow was done away with, they still have these issues. Now, with that being said, despite these barriers, the town maintained an active Black community with churches, businesses, schools, and civic organizations. Okay, so there you have it. Listen, we already know that Mississippi is one of the worst, in my opinion, definitely one of the worst states, okay, for Black people. And I know people who live in Mississippi sometimes don't want to admit that, but it absolutely is. Okay, at least in my opinion. At least in my opinion. Now, with that being said, let's talk about this grift that's going on here. Because who do they think they are? And I want you all to pay attention because Dr. Benjamin Hudson, Warren's nefarious father, he is the one who started up this Give, Send, Go, okay, this fundraiser so they can grift, so they can literally cash in at Nolan's expense off of his death. Now, Nolan's parents, I don't know if they've gotten wind of this yet. They probably have by now, but I am hoping that they absolutely do something about it because how are they going to use his name? I mean, it's a whole lot of nerve. Stand with Nolan Wells as targeted friends. I mean, can you imagine? being the liars that we know specifically that Warren is. And although we don't know exactly what they did or if they did anything specifically to Nolan, but what we do know is that they're not telling the truth, okay, about certain things. And the question is, why? If your best friend, your buddy, your bro, somebody that you hung out with every day of the week, according to Warren, someone who was always at your house for the past 3 years, according to Ike Pyron, okay, Wyatt's brother, then why are y'all allowing these nefarious things to be said about his parents? How come y'all haven't been standing up for him? How come you're sitting here telling all these lies? If it were my best friend, I would be wanting to tell nothing but the truth. I would be wanting the police to solve the crime. I would have so many questions and trying to help search for answers. But have they done any of those things? Absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. News crew says the amount they received has doubled since yesterday. Listen, I'm sure it is, but here's the thing. The people donating to them are idiots, in my opinion, because they're already rich. What in the hell do they need donations for? Because this is a grift, and also it's a slap in the face. And also, I want you all to pay attention. They're also doing this to antagonize Black people, to try to tick us off. But listen, it doesn't tick me off. The only thing that ticks me off about it is that they're using Nolan's name. Okay? Because they could have made the same fundraiser without adding his name to it. Okay? But they're purposely trying to be disrespectful and play in our faces. Okay? They're trying to just get us ticked off so that we do something crazy. Okay? Like go out there and start burning down stuff. That's what they want. And then they'll really have something to talk about. And I'm so proud that Black people have not done anything ridiculous as of yet. And here's the thing, Black people, that you need to always remember. Anytime that Black people have gone out there to march in recent years, starting around 2020, even before then, but we'll start at 2020, what they have done, they have had busloads of these provocateurs brought in, paid them to get out there and act as participants in the protest, only for them to start rioting, looting, setting things on fire, bursting out windows, and all sorts of things so they can blame it on the Black community. So if you're not out there, then they can't blame anything on you. And so that's why I'm glad that rather than doing any of that, Black people have instead chose in certain small areas, like in Ocean Springs, they have been out there protesting, but there have been smaller crowds and they've been out there doing so peacefully. Okay. So I'm just glad that there's not a lot of nothing crazy going on so they can just, try to pour fuel on the fire. But let's talk about this Gifts and Go. New Gifts and Go campaign launched for friends of Nolan Wells. A Gifts and Go fundraiser has been launched seeking $100,000 to provide legal support for several of Nolan Wells' friends, including Warren Hudson, Jack Spatalo, Morgan Seymour, and others. Here's the question. Why would they need legal support? Is somebody going to get arrested? Is somebody possibly going to jail? Because I thought they were all innocent. Now, why would they be sitting up here having a whole Gifts and Go fundraiser when it was an accidental drowning? Okay, according to Ledbetter. But let me continue. Now, at the time, the person who posted this says at the time of these screenshots, they had raised $24,000. Now, the fundraiser follows the ongoing investigation into the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells over the 4th of July weekend. And then they go on to tell about Nolan and what happened. They say, according to the fundraiser, the campaign has 2 primary goals. So the first is to help pay legal expenses for the friends if wrongful death lawsuits are filed against them. Oh, so that's what this is all about. They already know what's coming down the pike, so they don't want to spend their money. Oh, let everybody else pay for it. But here's the thing. I don't even care, because if the MAGA minions with their ridiculous selves want to give rich folk their money and pay their bill, go right ahead. Because at the end of the day, no matter where that money comes from, it's still going to Nolan's family. Okay, period. So I don't care which one of the devils it comes from. So anyway, they go on to sit here and play the victim and throw out the Uno reverse card, talking about how they have It's not intended, listen to this. It is not intended to silence legitimate discussions or differing opinions. Oh, yeah, of course it is. It absolutely is. Okay, but rather to address what the organizers describe as defamation, targeted harassment, threats, intimidation, and coordinated online campaigns directed at the young men and their families. The statements contained in the fundraiser reflect the views and allegations of its organizers and should not be interpreted as established facts. The investigation into Nolan Wells' death remains ongoing, and no criminal charges have been announced in connection with his death. Now, don't you all think this is absolutely nefarious? I mean, like, this is so despicable. Who even dreams this up? But I'm going to tell you, when Dr. Benjamin Hudson put out that blood money reward, $50,000 for anybody that could give information leading to the arrest and conviction of whoever, right? Even though it's supposed to be an accidental drowning, let them tell it. So when he did that, I knew he had something up his sleeve. No, I didn't know this is what it was, but I clearly knew that he had some sort of nefarious agenda. So in the event that he's sitting here trying to act like nothing to see here, folks, we're completely innocent. We want to help get we want to help get justice and find out who victimized Nolan too. But do you? Because now you're victimizing Nolan again, even in his death, disrespecting his memory, disrespecting his family, talking trash about his parents all over the internet, thanks to Rage Batum Tatum and his nefarious self. This is what they're doing. Okay, it's absolutely despicable. But mind you, they want to call us disgusting and say we're painting racial narratives because we're out here trying to get to the bottom of everything. Okay, I find it all so nefarious, but let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, let's talk about it. I'm going to go to what my friend Secret Service Sam had to say about this whole grift. And then we got to talk about how Tatum has been exposed yet again, caught red-handed, okay, or should I say caught fork-tongued lying again as per usual.
Your Wells update. And if you couldn't believe it could get any tackier, these people have now started to give send goes me. Some lady named Tracy Schleckler, allegedly. I don't even know. You can go check it out for yourself. Check it out right here. They are trying to raise $500,000. Like, this is so disgusting. Like, are you guys going to do a give, send, go for the family? Like, I've never seen it. All they are talking about, racism. Like, you guys are doing all the racism. You're Mississippi. Has nobody seen the movie Mississippi Burning? Nobody? Go watch it. If you guys haven't seen it, Willem Dafoe, Gene Hackman, brilliant movie where like 4 civil rights people are just killed in Mississippi. You guys have a history of this, and you have the nerve to call us race baiters, but you all worship Officer Race Batum Tatum. You guys worship that guy because he's the only black guy you know. Don't you think that's odd? That's willing to agree with your racist rhetoric? Don't you think? Ding, ding, ding. Disgusting. So shameful that this poor woman loses her son. You guys shame her and then start give, send, goes, and you have the nerve to talk crap about them hiring a lawyer and getting money for their legal fees or their trauma that they've been through. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Secret Service Sam out Samson for president of the world.
Okay, I mean, absolutely despicable. Okay, they talked all of that trash about the family, always trying to call us grifters. And you know, it's funny because just the other day there was a troll in my chat who said that black people are the biggest grifters. I didn't even respond. I just deleted the comment or just deleted him, basically banned him. But hold on, we're going to get into some more talk about that. But Isaac Hayes III came out and spoke on Nolan's case. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm going to pull this up. I mean, it is the nerve of some people. Okay, here it is. Common sense should tell anyone that something is very wrong with how these white folks in Mississippi are handling Nolan Wells' death. If Nolan drowned, then say he drowned. Why hold on to his lungs and his throat? Why seal the autopsy? Why play all these games? Transparency is the fastest way to the truth. Instead, the story keeps changing. Posts got deleted. Lies are being told. These people are playing a game of CYA on the soul of a young Black boy. Okay? Absolutely nefarious. Okay, this is what they're doing. Can they put a stop to the gift and go, says LL. You know, I don't think so. I don't think that there's a reason for them to stop it. But what can happen is Nolan's parents should be able to make them take their son's name off of it because they didn't approve. They didn't give them permission to do so. And I don't see how they should be able to monetize off of something that happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely not. Especially when people know that they have told more than one lie on more than one occasion. And quite frankly, we don't know if they did anything yet, but many of us believe that they did something. And this right here, what they're doing right now, further makes it look suspicious. Okay? Further makes it look suspicious.
Believe this. Wells's targeted friends, they are trying to raise $100,000, are out here trying to get sympathy donations, and they've already raised over $20,000, saying on Independence Day weekend 2026, lives were changed forever when a group of friends lost their best friend. No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son, and no friend should have to grieve the loss of a brother. Of a brother? You mean the brother that you left? Allegedly. You mean the brother that you allegedly left after he had been drinking? Allegedly. You mean the brother where you literally didn't go to the funeral? You're literally making this about you and not about Nolan right now. This is victimhood, but I'm not surprised. I'm never surprised by the caucasity of you people. Y'all won't even believe.
Absolutely nefarious, like I said. And then calling Nolan their brother. And I'm so sick and tired of some of these publications still referring to them as Nolan's friends. Because they absolutely were not. They were anything but. And she didn't have to say allegedly because they said it themselves that they left him there, which I don't believe. They said it themselves that they were drinking, which I absolutely believe they were, but not Nolan. At least not to the extent that they claim.
So let me get these straight. All these people are saying that Nolan's family and Al Sharpton and Ben Crump is this picture to show y'all something. You mean to tell me Warren Dad offers $50,000 for information in the unaliving of Nolan Wells and create a fundraiser for the friends of Nolan Wells? And what's really blowing me is the fact that almost $24,000 was already donated. Ain't these people rich already? But y'all want to talk about how much more disrespectful can you be? Like, Nolan is already dead. He's gone. He's never coming back. He'll never be able to pursue his future in his dreams. And y'all making a mockery.
Okay, no shame. No shame at all and whatsoever. Okay? Now, the psychotherapist that I have been showing you all videos where he has been breaking down certain things about Nolan's case, well, he did a very good analysis on the Rage Tatum. Okay? So I'm going to show a combo of videos, and his video is in there. Okay, please listen to what he says about him, because he was so on point and accurate.
Place.
Hey, this is Trent Out Loud YouTuber. I think the judge threats and the Benjamin Crump defamation lawsuit is just a distraction. I think it's incredibly telling that a white woman goes out and shows us the threats she's getting, and within days there is an arrest. But there has been zero arrest when it comes to the Nolan Xavier Wells case. Do you have any idea how many threats Christine has gotten? How come there's nobody arresting for the people that are threatening her?
Well, no, listen, you first have to determine if there's foul play, right? And I don't know that they've determined that yet. So you don't go out and start arresting people until you know, A, if there's foul play, and B, who did it. But just because there hasn't been doesn't mean there's not a real investigation behind it.
Agreed. But now let's talk about that picture that you showed up of the boat. We got that.
Hold on. Did anyone notice what Harvey just did right then? Did anyone notice what Harvey just did? Harvey just flipped the script because what Trent asked him, and shout out to Trent for going in on them hard in the paint. Okay, Trent's one of the people who was at the Diddy trial with us. But listen, here's the thing. He clearly did not answer Trent's question. The question was, when this white woman comes out saying that she was threatened, immediately arrest her maid within days. I mean, they even call the FBI. Okay, so and then he says, what about Nolan's family, his parents, his mom? Okay, well, Harvey just skirts past that. He deflects and starts talking about, well, first of all, you can't make an arrest until there's some evidence of foul play. We're not talking about the case. We're talking about his family being threatened and harassed. They have received numerous death threats themselves. I believe that when all the smoke settles and this is in fact over, that they will likely have to leave Ocean Springs. Okay? So Harvey, please sit down somewhere. Now, Chelsea says Warren, during the interview, lying about Nolan's phone, arrest for threats to his mom, the $50K renewed a reward by his dad, and the Gibson go by them. Very suspicious. Exactly, beloved. It's all given suspicious. Okay? Somebody called Dr. Umar. And thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, absolutely. But let's continue.
Picture from Officer Tatum, former Officer Tatum. How do we know when that picture was taken? We have no metadata. We have no proof. How do we know that? And also,
well, no, but what video? It's not a pic. We're talking about.
Well, he put out pictures and video. But
I know, but the video, we can align the video with the distress call, and he wasn't on that boat.
Harvey, how do you know? Has former Officer Tatum, has he provided you guys with the metadata? Do you know 100% when that video and those pictures were taken? Can you confirm to me right now that it was taken on July the 4th?
That's what we have concluded based on everything we've looked at, metadata, talking to people, and aligning.
Don't forget that I showed you all, and Secret Service Sam proved it with a video showing how you can change metadata in a cell phone. Okay, all you need to do is have the original picture or video. You can absolutely change it, so that doesn't prove a darn thing. And I'm so sick of these people acting as though anything that these boys say is the gospel truth. And that would be Harvey Levin, TMZ collectively, and Tap Dancing Tatum. And the Mega Millions too. They all act like these people are not telling one lie when they know darn well they've heard the inconsistent stories, the contradictions, and they know darn well they've told flat out lies. Please, specifically Warren.
It with the distress call, yeah. Now, look, anything is possible. I'm certainly not saying it wasn't foul play because I don't know. It's just, I think, jumping to conclusions at the beginning and starting to point fingers at people without really knowing. It may be fair, but what if it's really unfair and you're kind of tarnishing people who really shouldn't be tarnished? Shouldn't that be a concern?
I think if anybody who jumped to conclusions first was the Mississippi officers that jumped to conclusions 1 hour after finding his body and said, no evidence of foul play. They jumped to conclusions, not us.
Well, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
They just want the truth.
I think that's fair.
Look at how Harvey keeps trying to talk over Trent and trying to not allow him to finish his thoughts. This man is despicable. Okay, absolutely despicable. Now, we already know that when they released that audio, okay, from Cito, that they cut out the first 30 seconds when you can hear all that stuff being said in the background. Okay? He needs to sit down somewhere. Like, this is really ticking me off.
I also think there is a spotlight on them right now, and they know they better do a thorough investigation.
Oh, okay. Let me just say this for that. At the end of the day, Why do they need a spotlight on them for them to simply do their job in the correct manner? Why do they need someone to shine a light on them for them to do the right thing? Okay, don't they say justice is blind? But clearly it isn't. And here's the thing. He says he's acting as though now that everyone's looking, they're going to all of a sudden do the right thing. Let me tell you something. That's a load of BS too, because people have been looking and shining a light on Mississippi and their nefariousness for decades. Okay, it's the home of where Emmett Till was lynched and got no justice. The devil that did it on her, she told the truth and still died free, got no consequences. Medgar Evers, okay, who spoke out when Emmett Till was killed. He also was killed in Mississippi. The three gentlemen that went down there, okay, the reason the movie Mississippi Burning was even made, they all died in Mississippi and countless of others. And what you all may not know is that a few years ago, around 2017 to 2018, it was reported that there were people being hung down there in Mississippi, specifically Black men, and none of those incidents were being reported on the news. Okay, I remember that. None of that stuff was being reported on the news. They told a story about one man who left home walking with his dog and never came back. The dog came back by itself. And the man was later found in a tree. Now, that's a story that was online a few years ago. So at the end of the day, you know, they want to sit here and act like nothing to see here. And as if we shouldn't be jumping to conclusions, but never said one word about Ledbetter doing this before anyone else. Please pay attention.
Kudos to you, Trent Out Loud. Burr, burr, burr.
And I might sound crazy for this one, but I really think it's some type of devilish sacrifice shit going on, okay? Especially knowing the history of this Ku Klux country, okay? And what really happened during slavery. They used to eat black people, feed them to alligators, take their teeth out of their mouth and put them in their own, kill babies in front of the mothers. Mind you, these babies were only born because of rape. And they're still stealing their organs. Doctors are targeting black women specifically, trying to convince them to get all of these surgeries that they do not need. And Kendrick Johnson did not just roll himself up in a mat. His organs didn't just walk up out of his body to be replaced with fucking newspaper. They putting shit in the vaccines, they putting shit in the food because they're trying to kill the black population, which is also why they banned abortion, because they know that white women get the most abortions and they want more white babies being born. But yeah, black people don't just coincidentally go missing or pass away after hanging out with a bunch of white people. Black people do not hang themselves from trees. And it's all ruled foul play. Be so fucking for real. I'm telling you, it's some type of fucking evil, weird clan member sacrifice shit going on. And it's probably never stopped. It's been going on. It's just that this motherfucking Mango Mussolini in office got them feeling big and bold enough to do this shit, because it's no consequences for his actions. So why are they gonna think that there's any consequences for theirs? But tell me if I sound crazy. Tell me if I sound crazy, because I really don't even think I sound that crazy.
I didn't know who that Officer Tatum dude was a few months ago, but I've seen his clips circulating around.
Let me say this really quickly. Now, if you all may remember, I did a report about 215 bodies that were buried, okay, in paupers' graves behind a Mississippi jail complex. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, not all of these prisoners were black, but a majority of them were. Now, why were these people buried in paupers' graves behind the jail? Okay, and nobody knew nothing. Make that all make sense. And let's not forget about the Devil's Punch Bowl happened there too, but let's continue.
That's a generational level of self-hate. I don't think Slugs hates Salt as much as he hates black people. In the clips I've seen, anything that advocates for black people, you can just see the rage fester in his body before he speaks. His instinct is to nip it in the bud. I thought Jason Whitlock hated black people. That Officer Tatum dude, he's setting a new bar for sure.
Over the past few weeks, I've become very aware of an online personality who goes by the name Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum is a man named Brandon Tatum, who has built quite a following and reputation for being a conservative African-American, a right-wing African-American. And the way that he's conducted himself since the Nolan Wells case has exploded has gotten me interested. And what I wanted to understand was, how does someone who's an African-American have the ideas that he has, have the ideals that he has, and build a platform that he has? So I wanted to delve into the psychology of how a personality like that develops and where it might come from. So it's interesting because if you look at Brandon Tatum's history, you have to first understand his family. His family are full of very, very successful people and very successful athletes. One of his family members was an All-American at Ohio State University and became an NFL All-Pro. Another one of his family, I think his grandfather, was a high fire department personality in Fort Worth, Texas, where he's from. He went to Dunbar High School, where he was a standout football player, absolutely stellar football player. And in that part of the world, in Texas, high school football is a really big deal. And Officer Brandon Tatum was extraordinarily successful, went on to college to play football and had aspirations to play in the NFL. He went undrafted, which must have really caused him some struggle and caused him some difficulty. And then after going undrafted, he became a police officer in Arizona, where he also had gone to college. Now, this is all important stuff to understand, because just like in any family, living up to the family legacy is always a pressure. And when you come from a family that is stacked with so much athletic success, you feel like I have to live up to the success that my family has set for me. And oftentimes when you fail to do that, that sense of failure is a real struggle and leads to a sense of belonging. I'm going to get to that in a second, but leads to a sense of belonging. So now he's also experienced a struggle at becoming an officer and wasn't able to do that for long term. And he stopped becoming an officer, and then he starts a security company. Now, it's interesting because at some point he starts working for Charlie Kirk, who was a very prominent conservative, very prominent right-wing conservative personality that I'm sure everybody at this point has heard about. And sadly, he was assassinated. And as Brandon Tatum is working for Charlie Kirk, he starts building his own platform. Now, here's where I think things become really important. When you have been dealing with failure over a long period of time and you have a significant sense of desire for a sense of belonging, the internet is a very interesting place because you can build content for certain communities and experience that sense of belonging. And being around Charlie Kirk, he's going to understand how to build content for the audience that is also right-wing conservative that Charlie Kirk was serving. Now, look, I want to be very clear here. There is nothing wrong with anybody being conservative, right-wing, have whatever views you want to have. And it doesn't really matter whether you're white, black, or Hispanic. It doesn't really matter. But what stands out to me about the content of Brandon Tatum is he spends a lot of time saying really disparaging, disrespectful things about historical black people, about people like Harriet Tubman. I saw him making very difficult, very disrespectful comments about Rosa Parks and the civil rights movement, agreeing with Charlie Kirk that black people were better off during the slave days than they are today. So why would someone have these obviously egregious opinions about black people when you are in fact black? Because I think it becomes more important to Brandon Tatum to have the acceptance that he so seeks, regardless where it comes from, and make content for those people. And there is a significant reward for that stuff in the world we live in now. So if I start making that kind of content and put it up online, I'm going to start building a following, and I'm going to get a lot of feedback that tell me that it's good, and I'm going to get a lot of people telling me that they're glad that I make the kind of content I make. I'm going to get a lot of people that are encouraging me, even if those people do not look like me. And even if the content I make is actually not serving anybody's well-being, I'm going to continue to make it. The other thing is there's a financial reward in it. I'm going to get money for doing this. I'm going to get money from the platforms. I'm going to get sponsor deals. I'm going to get brand deals. But more than anything else, I'm going to get attention and I'm going to get accepted by a community. So when we are asking people like Brandon Tatum to be different, what we're actually asking them to do is stop seeking the attention that your psyche clearly desires and stop seeking the belonging that your psyche clearly desires, which is very likely a strategy that you've developed to cope with all of the shortcomings that have happened up until now. So I found this man and his story psychologically just really fascinating because I want to know, like, how does that get built? And how does someone who is African-American, who is raised in an African-American part of town, Dunbar High School is in the black part of Fort Worth, Texas, who plays athletics, which is a very diverse community, how do you go from that to saying things like, you believe black people were better off during slave days, and that you believe that Rosa Parks and the civil rights movement that happened in Montgomery, Alabama was not credible because it was staged. And if you know the historical context of it, it wasn't staged in the way that he was alluding to. Or how do you say really horrible things about Harriet Tubman when you are in fact black and are benefiting from the work of people like Harriet Tubman with the freedoms you enjoy today? The very fact that you can go online, and post this kind of content, you owe people like Harriet Tubman that ability. The very fact that you could go off to college and get educated and do those things that you do are actually a result of the civil rights movement, and during the slave days that could not have happened. So anyway, that is my psychological breakdown of how Brandon Tatum became the kind of person that you see now online espousing these crazy and ridiculous ideas. So what do you think of the breakdown? You want me to do some more of personalities that I run across online? Leave a comment below. Happy to do it. Thanks for watching.
Okay, that was a good breakdown. Okay, he just summed him right on up. Please pay attention. Now, D Major says, just taking a moment to give my tithes and offering on this Sunday morning. Queen has spoken. Let the church say amen. Well, thank you, beloved, for your kind words. You know, I appreciate you. Okay, thank you for donating to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, Buckhorse DC says, for my queen. Thank you, ma'am. Well, you're welcome, sir. Thank you kindly. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so listen. At the end of the day, Brandon Tatum knows exactly what he's doing, okay? He knows exactly what he's doing. He's helping them to paint a narrative, and he's being very biased in doing so. And then he has the nerve to get up there and act as though that he's trying to bring the community together, when all he ever does is try to cause a divide and to stoke and fuel racial tensions. That's what he does. And I agree, he does not like Black people. I agree with everyone who thinks that about him. He absolutely doesn't. It makes no sense. Okay, now I want to go to this video. Like, and share, please. After we get off Tatum, because this right here is a real good exposure of Tatum. Now, after we get done with that, however, I want to go to this video where this nurse defends Nolan's mother. Okay, she's a nurse as well, because they're still attacking this lady. They're still trying to come for her. I mean, these people have to be devils and demons, because who else would do this to someone who just lost their child and is still grieving and hasn't gotten any semblance of justice?
Case cover-up has just dropped another bombshell. Let's talk about it. Nolan Wells' case cover-up is not going to happen. And for all the naysayers, especially Brandon Tatum, please tag Nancy Grace in this, because she know what he told her. Remember when Brandon Tatum told Nancy Grace this?
Mr. Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy, let me clarify this for you. It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water, and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're gonna get objections. You said you didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call potentially, but you wasn't gonna upload data to a social media account. Now, could people take the steps to do it if they're dedicated enough? Yes, but it doesn't appear that that would have been a frequent thing, given the fact that you probably had 1 or 2 bars out there. And I heard evidence of that. Not only did I see evidence of it when I went out there myself personally with my cell phone, when I listened to the CTO call, you could tell that the call dropped out several times. It seemed like they were having trouble at times hearing each other. So it is consistent. And anybody that travel out there that have gone to.
Now, you all, I want you all to pay attention because this is the workings of a pathological liar. Okay, these are the ramblings of a pathological liar. Hey, the lounge beloved, I want you all to pay attention because he's given this very long and thorough and intricate, detailed, explanation, only to be telling a whole arse lie. Okay, but let's let him cook. 'Cause clearly he's in the kitchen.
The 4th of July celebration, they know that the reception is not very great. So the videos that they showed me in call logs were things that were not associated to social media, that they never posted on social media. It was, pictures and videos that they took on their phone.
Okay. Let me refine my question. I take it from your last answer that the answer is yes, you had reception on Horn Island.
Yes, I did have reception on Horn Island.
I absolutely love it here.
Now pay attention to how Nancy said, let me refine my question, because all he had to do was say yes or no. Okay, and I want you all to pay attention because usually and generally, I've been watching and studying him. When someone asks him a question, and in fact, he's trying to paint a narrative, he never will say yes or no. He'll give you this long, drawn-out explanation. Okay, that's what he does.
This is why I'm not so quick to just upload and speak on anything, because this next video that you'll see proves that Tatum will go to higher heights to lie for people. Here's a video of the lady that was on the boat that took that video showing the argument and stated that was a Nolan in that argument. She stated it was a Nolan. The key thing is, notice where she posted that video. When she did that video, she uploaded it on her boat that day to Snapchat. Mr. Tatum, you a liar and the truth is not in you. And those boys are going down. Take a look at this clip.
People are guessing or wondering if this is Nolan in an argument with his friends. And she said that the police haven't spoken to her either.
Yeah, very interesting. You would think that this viral video that police said they were investigating, they were aware of, they were looking into it. You think they would want to talk to the person that actually shot the video and was there. But according to her, she sent in the video to sheriffs and she has not heard back from them since.
What did she say about whether the person arguing in the video is Nolan?
So she's saying, in the video, you do not see an argument. There was, in fact, an argument that happened between 2 different boat passengers. She claims was not involving Nolan. This video was earlier. This video was taken an hour after this alleged incident happened.
I was never under the impression that this video was taken an hour after the incident. But here is what the lady said. And actually, I jumped on the story right after this video was posted. This is the first thing that I've talked about in my shorts. And it says, to clarify, I never stated that I saw Nolan. I also never stated that the argument you hear on the video was directed to and or involved Nolan. I simply posted this to see if he was spotted on camera after his last known sighting at 3 p.m. as stated by law enforcement. The reason this video was posted yesterday, 7/6, is because like 98% of the attendees of Horn Island, I was very intoxicated. I did not realize I had the video in my Snapchat until a friend who was also in attendance mentioned seeing this on my story. And I thought it would be helpful to the public when he was still labeled as a missing person. This video was sent to the authorities and his mother before being posted. Please stop with the rumors. Let the investigators do their job. And then she made a video all together. And it reads, update, turning off the comments because they are becoming repetitive and not helping in any way. Nolan was unfortunately found deceased, and investigators will now handle this case accordingly. Please remember that there is a family and community grieving. Please be kind. She says right here, it was taken at 4:01 p.m. North Side, West Tip. We were parked right next to the boat Nolan was allegedly on. Hope this helps in any way. This was immediately after the big fight.
Now, does it seem like to you guys that Horn Island didn't have enough reception in order to upload to Snapchat? So the question is, why in the hell did Nolan Wells' phone not have any uploads in it? Now, Mr. Brandon Tatum, see, the cover-up that you did for these boys and Nolan Wells' family need to sue out of you. That makes no sense. It's just like the Sonia Massey case. In every other case, you had to come back and apologize for. When I tell you, these boys is going down, Nolan Wells' case cover-up is falling apart day by day. Drop down in the comments what you think.
Okay, I absolutely agree. Agree. And Brandon Tatum is just despicable. He has so much self-hate. Okay, and that's why he's always mad at black folks. He takes out his angst that he feels for himself. He takes that out on us. And like I've told you all before, I can only imagine what kind of police officer he was. Okay, I can only imagine. All right, let's continue. Now, Booker CC just gifted a membership to the channel. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, just gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Booker DC says, we are the direct children of the living God. I have faith in my people. I'm black and I'm proud. Absolutely, beloved. I am too, honey. And I have faith in our people too. Thank you for your kind words, your insight into the topic, and your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, Terry Hinton, thank you for being a member for 21 months, beloved. I appreciate you. Terry Hinton says, Queen, you are amazing. I sent a cash app. Well, thank you, beloved. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for your contribution to the channel and for your cash app donation. And thank you all for all of the cash app donations that you all send. I really appreciate you. Now, listen, now I want to go to these black lawyers and what they have to say about this entire thing. So let's go to that. We're going to listen to a few minutes, and then we're going to be out of here because I will be back later with some more juicier receipts. Okay, you know how they say save the best for last? Okay, please pay attention. Okay, here we go. Let me get my overlay.
And again, we're still piecemealing what happened together, but it's some of the stuff that happened, you know, that the other individuals at play here, I'll say the lack thereof, for lack of a better term, also gives cause for concern, though, right? So it seems as if, you know, if somebody I consider a good friend, regardless of race, fell off a boat, let's say couldn't swim and looked to be drowning, I don't know if I'd wait until I got back to shore to try to alert somebody or call the police, right? I mean, I think we'd be frantic at that time. But again, I think as an attorney, I do have to filter that feeling piece, those emotions, and look at the facts, right? I mean, I think Judge Mathis basically said it best. I think there's reasonable suspicion surrounding his death. Yes, I do. However, I can't jump on the he was killed bandwagon. And I think, you know, Cole, to your point, there are certain elements of crimes that need to be met. And if you're going to say it was murder, I think you have to prove, well, if murder one, I think you have to prove the intent. Could this have been a situation where a bunch of boys were just on a boat horse playing and went a little overboard, right? I mean, well, that's not murder one. I mean, like you said, Kobe, again, you're looking at some sort of manslaughter. But do I think the others on the boat know what happened to him? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So I think that's just kind of, again, it's always sad when you hear somebody that looks like you know, could have been, I'm 40. So, I mean, Nolan Wells could have been my son. It's always a situation where, you know, it is sad when you hear stuff like that. But then at the same time, you know, being in the legal space, we can't just automatically.
Yeah, we can't jump on the bandwagon. I want you all to pay attention to something else that I told you all too. When Tatum talks to, when he spoke to Nancy Grace, okay, or after he spoke to Nancy Grace, shall I say, do you all know that he went on his podcast and tried to act as though he gave her the business? Did you all know that? Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He went on his podcast and tried to act like he gave Nancy Grace the business when we all saw exactly what happened. Okay, she destroyed him. He was looking so stupid. He couldn't gather his words. But I told you all, when he speaks to Nancy Grace, he sits up straight. He doesn't raise his voice. He's very even toned. He doesn't speak in a condescending tone. Okay, he doesn't come hard at her if she disagrees with anything that he says. That's what he doesn't do. But he is very disrespectful, very aggressive in his manner, and very hostile, okay, when he speaks and holds a conversation or debate with Black people. And that's all because he hates himself, okay? That's because he simply hates himself. Now, I saw that Willie D, I believe it was, did a video. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it, but I will. But did a video saying that Nancy Grace is not to be trusted. Now, I'm going to have to say I agree with him because I already told you I don't care for Nancy Grace. I'll shout her out for the work she's doing on this case, perhaps, but I don't really care for Nancy Grace. To me, she's a whole Karen, and I clearly don't like and haven't forgotten, nor will I forget the disparaging things that she said about Carmelo Anthony. I didn't appreciate that. Okay, and like I told you all from the beginning, I believe that the only reason she jumped on this story on the bandwagon is because she's cool with Ben Crump. Okay, now that's just my opinion. Okay, so with that all being said, let's go to this video where, as I told you all, this nurse defends Nolan's mother. After so many people have been saying so many hateful things, after so many people have been just, you know, hold on. Before I go to that, I'm sorry, I'm getting out of line here. Okay, I'm trying to stay in order. Okay, so let's go back to these Black attorneys so we can hear some of what the other gentleman had to say.
Non-legal bandwagon. We actually have a job to do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that comment a lot. And I want to ask you, the public, I know we got some more people watching. You know, do you think this is a racist event, or do you think this was a murder? Do you think it has nothing to do with none of that? It's just another crime, another day. So definitely let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I do think it's important to highlight some of the particular facts in this case. So, you know, for one, based off what I've, you know, listened to, you know, research, Horn Island was a place where there was like hundreds of teenagers that they would go there, party, do whatever on July 4th. You know, it was just like a place where it was a lot of people. So it wasn't like, I think the initial reaction that people were saying was like, oh, it just seemed like a group of boys, like 4 or 5 boys went to this island, and then only one Black boy, only the Black boy is the one that's missing, right? So it was like a party that traditionally was just done at this island. Another fact that I think is helpful, that helped me, is that the state of Mississippi, they've been doing an investigation. They've interviewed over 60 different witnesses. They've done an investigation. However, In the state of Mississippi, they can't charge somebody without a grand jury. So here in Indiana, it's different. I'm not sure how it is down there in DC, Virginia, but in Indiana, they just need a police report, a probable cause affidavit. They don't even need the police report, really. They just need the probable cause affidavit, the charging information presented to a judge. A judge signs off, says, yes, I think there's probable cause for a crime. And then boom, you can get charged with a crime. But in the state of Mississippi, unless there's some sort of exception, for the most part, the state gathers all this evidence, presents it to a grand jury of people, and say, hey, do you think there's probable cause to charge these person? It looks like they're probably going to, and they might be charging multiple people. Now, I listened to the district attorney's, speech about it, and she talked about how, they are going to, they are investigating. They're going to follow the process of a grand jury. So I want to know what you guys' thoughts on that, like Mississippi's process of a grand jury, how this is delaying things, right? Because the public is like, they're ready to go. We want to know answers ASAP, right? And I understand this is the process. So they have a grand jury, and the grand jury is, they're not supposed to release any evidence because the person hasn't been charged yet.
Let me say something about that. Now, here's the thing. I never knew that. Okay, I literally never knew that. So that's why they're talking about going to the grand jury, because that is their state law. So let me say this to you all. So that's very telling. Okay, that's very telling, because you see, by doing it that way, they absolutely don't have to prosecute the people they don't want to prosecute. Okay, I want you to pay attention to that. They do not have to prosecute the people that they don't want to prosecute. Now, if you want to remember that story of Demontravius, I forget his last name, was it Williams? The young man who was a FedEx worker, a FedEx driver who was down there in Mississippi, and the white father and son shot at him. You all remember that, right? And they got no consequences because they came up with some story basically saying that the one of the investigators did something inappropriate or whatever, but they got absolutely no consequences. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why they claim they do it like this. They say investigative power. The grand jury can subpoena documents and witnesses to uncover hidden criminal evidence. Okay, so they say this prevents abuse. It stops prosecutors from finding groundless felony charges based on personal or political grudges. Okay, well, that all sounds good on the surface, but at the end of the day, the real reason they do it, come on, we know their history. Okay, so I'm not going to give them any benefit of the doubt that they're trying to do things by the book down there, because they've always done things off the record. Okay, that's what they've always done, under the color of law, in mysterious and nefarious ways. That's what they've always done. So like I said, in my opinion, they're doing this, or they do it this way, so they don't have to convict or specifically indict anyone they don't really want to. Because think about how the grand jury process works. I told you, the prosecutor comes in, gets to present all of their evidence and say whatever they want to say, and there's no one to, basically go against them and say anything to the contrary, because the defense is not allowed to come in. Okay? Oh, it's very one-sided. It's very one-sided. So when people are indicted, it's because they absolutely wanted those people to be indicted. And when people are not indicted, it's simply because they did not want them to be indicted. Okay? Now, here's the thing. If there is any indictment in the case of Nolan Wells, which I highly doubt, but even if there is, I'm pretty sure they're going to have an all-white jury and do the best that they can to get them off. Okay? That's what I believe. That's what I absolutely believe. And they're already setting it up and staging the scene, okay, for reasonable doubt. And Tatum is one of the people spearheading that whole movement, as far as I'm concerned. Now, that's my opinion. Okay, so with that all been said, I just find it very interesting. So let's go now to this nurse that decided to speak out at the behest of Mrs. Christina Wansley, or Mrs. Christine Wansley, Nolan's mother, after all the hate she's been receiving. And you know, this is one of the things that really bothers me, that they're tormenting this poor woman like that after all she's already been through and will continue to go through. Just evil. Just absolutely evil. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, I don't have that video. I'm sorry. I don't have that video. I have to find it for later. It was on Facebook and I accidentally sent myself the wrong video. But nonetheless, this woman basically came out and said how she is a nurse practitioner and how nurse practitioners, you know, they help and serve the community. And for people to be doing this, it's absolutely egregious. Okay. And then also, as I pointed out to you all, how they have accused the family of being racist continuously. These people have not done or said anything racist. Okay. They have never acted in a racist manner. They have not blamed it on race. They simply said that they hope that that is not what it is. Another thing I want to point out too is that Brandon Tap Dancing Tatum wants to make it seem as though we all want, you know, Nolan to have been murdered so we can send these boys to prison. Listen. Nobody really wants it to be that case, because to think that Nolan was hurt in any way, you know, beaten, anything nefarious happening to him, tortured in any manner, anything like that is absolutely heartbreaking. No one wants it to be that. Fool. Okay, Brandon Tap Dancing Tatum, you idiots. No one wants it to be that. We just don't know what exactly happened. And the fact that things seem to be covered up, that everyone seems to be acting so suspicious. And by everyone, I mean the DA, okay, the governor. Because how do you come out and give a statement, you speak about it, you don't even know all the facts and you admit that, and then you don't even offer condolences to the family? That's very suspicious. Are you a whole Klansman? We know you wore blackface. Okay, we know you wear blackface, so I have to ask myself, with all the Klan groups down there, Governor Tate Reeves, are you one of them? Are you a member? Okay, I'd like to ask the same thing of the DA. I'd like to ask the same thing of Sheriff Ledbetter. Okay, and Stacey Turner, the medical examiner, who's had numerous accusations and claims against her as well. That's what I'd like to know, because that's what it's all given. Okay, that's exactly what it's given as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about one more thing before I conclude this broadcast, and that would be Jake Lang. Now, you all know the low down, dirty, nefarious Jake Lang. Did you all know that he's having this walk, and I believe it is scheduled for August the 27th, the 22nd, I mean. Now, listen to this. I want you all to pay attention. Now, I blocked out the first word, but it is the word jigger with an end. Yeah, that's right. That's what he's having. A jigger march, August the 22nd, Minneapolis City Hall at 12 noon. And he calls it a freedom of speech rally. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention. If the devils are not busy, I'm not sitting here. Okay? This is absolutely crazy, but they want to accuse us, the victims of racial hatred and disdain, the victims of a whole history of hate crimes being perpetuated upon us. They want to accuse us of being the racists. They want to accuse us of being the ones that are asking for a race war. They want to accuse us of everything that, in fact, they, the MAGA minions, okay, and Tap Dancing Tatum are, in fact, doing. It is the audacity of it for me. And I'm sure Officer Tatum thinks this is a great idea. He'll probably be there with bells on. Okay, please pay attention. So anyway, it is what it is, beloveds. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning back in. Please turn on your notifications, because I will be coming live again later on this evening. And you don't want to miss it. Okay, and so with that all being said, listen, I love you all to life. I appreciate you. Stay diligent. Keep your head on the swivel. Okay, But each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Yeah. For Nolan Xavier Wells. 18 years old, gone too soon. Mississippi, y'all got some explaining to do. Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? Talk. So I pray the family get real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. July 4th lights, boat ride with the crew. Young King Nolan chasing dreams, Ocean Springs through and through. Horn Island called his name, he relaxing in the blue. 2 days later found on the sand. What happened to you? Independent autopsy dropped, but it's undetermined. Red mark on the back of the head, neck structures missing. Absurd. State sitting quiet, toxicology on the shelf. Family screaming for truth, but y'all protecting yourself. Nolan was a star athlete with a future bright. Now his mama crying every single night. Boating trip turned nightmare. Questions in the air. Who was on that island? Why the silence there? Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hide? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? Talk. I pray the family get real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. Grand jury waiting, but the people still fighting. No severe trauma, they say, but the story don't add up clean. Waves whispering secrets, covering up the scheme. Oh, young black man gone, another one in the South. History repeating, time to open your mouth. What you hiding in them files? Why the delay? Transparency dying, why the family pray? Nolan's light was shining, future snatched away. Now the whole world watching what Mississippi say. We marching, we posting, we demanding justice loud for every mother losing sons behind that murky cloud. Oh. I pray the family get real answers. No more games, no more lies. No more games, no more lies. Nolan deserved better, the truth never dies. From the island to the courtroom, we standing tall. Mississippi, your reckoning gon' come. One and all, finding all. Mississippi, Mississippi, need to release that report. Release it now, release it now, release it now. Need to release that report. Mississippi, what you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? I pray the family get real answers. No, we the people won't go